I'm in the midst of restyling the 2011 theme to reflect some changes in design for this website that I'm creating, the Followed 50th celebration. And I've already gone in through the style sheet and added this stripe background. In a previous movie called Header, which you can also view, I adjusted the functions.php file indicating a new height and a new width so that I could put my own size and shape of a custom banner in place. And so far, so good, except that I have a lot of adjustments to continue to make in the style sheet in order to make this look better. I'm actually going to use Firebug just to give you a reminder of some of the things that you can do and that you might want to employ in your own designs. These are all going to be temporary changes. Of course, I would take these temporary changes and make them real and upload them in my actual style sheet. But just for time's sake and so we can get through a lot of different things, I'm going to just make these, again, temporary in Firebug. The first thing, I think I've pretty clearly said 50th anniversary La Follette High School. So the fact that I have this line up here that says La Follette 50th celebration, celebrating 50 years, that might be a little bit redundant. I've tried to do that already here with the banner. However, this information is pretty important to search engines, more important than my graphic. This is an H1 tag. It's going to be highly searchable. It will help my site get found. So I don't want to search through and find that in the PHP and delete it necessarily. I just want to hide it. So that might be the case with some of your information as well. You'd like to keep it there for search engine optimization, but maybe we're just hiding it. The first thing I'm going to do is, in Firebug, find the particular rule that's governing this. And here it is, the site title. So just as an experiment, I will go in and type in display none. And it's gone, just like magic. So the property that you would want to add is display none, semicolon. So if you're writing that in your real style sheet, it's still there. If we were to turn off the CSS, we'd see it there. Search engines still find it. It's just not visible because we've hidden it with our style sheet. So the same thing here. I'm going to find the rule describing this guy, and again, just do Firebug, and I'm tabbing using my tab key to allow me to create new properties. So again, display none. Okay, so that's gone. The search box, you may or may not want to get rid of it. I really don't want it here. So you have a lot of options to think about. First of all, you can just find it in your PHP code and delete it. We could hide this like we've hidden the other information. The thing I want to remind you about, though, is that there is a widget. You can add a search function anywhere. So I could put a search down in my footer, search in the sidebar, a search any place that will accept widgets. So at this point, I'm pretty confident that I could simply come in here, find the rule governing that, and again, just choose display none. And I will use a search function, just not in this particular spot. So all of that stuff is gone. So still looking a little bit funky. I think I'm going to go in and as I use my inspect tool, I see as I hover over here, there's a lot of space here that's unnecessary, and I'm not quite sure what that is. So I'm going to click on that. And I'm not really finding, okay, so this branding image, let's see if that's, no, we really want that. I don't think I targeted quite the right, okay, so this site title, where the site title used to sit inside of it and we hid that, it still has some margin and it still has some padding. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that off, and it's collapsed. So not only is the type hidden, but the container that was holding it is hidden. And all of this is so easy to identify using Firebug and almost impossible any other method. Okay, we're getting a little bit closer. My intention, I created this as a ping because I wanted this to be transparent. So make sort of baby steps towards that. I'm going to try to identify this main section, this whole thing that's white here, and just turn the color of that off completely. I may need a little bit of help from the breadcrumb line here, but we'll see how this goes. So sort of click here. Nav access, it's not that. Header branding, I don't think it's that. Page feed. Okay, so as I look at the rule governing that, it does have a color attached to it and it's white. So I'm going to eliminate, let's delete those colors. Okay, perfect. Now I have this little line. Where is that little line coming from? This border. Okay, let's try that again. Is it this? Is it on here? I know it's somewhere. I've seen it before and I was able to turn it off. Okay, so through the use of the breadcrumb trail here, I see that there is a rule that has a property of border top 2 pixels, so I'm going to experiment turn that off. Okay. You can see I do this a lot, and there's still quite a bit of hunting and pecking and experimenting. So be patient. You'll find the rule eventually. Just cut yourself a break if you're not finding it instantly. The next thing is my intention was to have this navigation start right under here and let the 5 sort of overlap it. And right now my graphic ends here. The navigation is doing exactly what it thinks it needs to do, start in the immediate next spot, but I need to adjust that. So once again, with the help of Firebug, I will find this whole axis, and the margin is what is determining the distance from the item above it. Here's my margin, and just to kind of remind you about the properties, in margin it goes top, right, bottom, and left. Kind of spells the acronym TROUBLE. So top, right, bottom, and left. So this very first 0 is the top margin, and right now it's 0 where it thinks it should be, but I actually want to bring it up higher, so I have to enter a negative number in order to bring that back. So I'll just try -50. Okay, so I've targeted at least the right rule and I'm moving in the right direction. I just need to continue to experiment, and I'll try 70. Okay, so that's pretty good for the time being. My width obviously would need to be adjusted. I would probably, on the left, you can see I'm going to have to adjust the margin there as well. So lots of things to continue to play with, but moving in the right direction. One final thing that I might want to do in this part of the banner is kind of move these guys over a little bit. I know that navigation is part of a list, and that same sort of technique is employed in WordPress as well. So I'm still going to inspect, find kind of one of these. I'll just select any of these links here. And I'm going to need to use the help of my breadcrumb again so that I can get at the list itself. And the main list is the unordered list, the UL. And so here is the list that is within the access. And again, I need to use margin to push the list over. So here's my margin: top 0, right 0, bottom 0, and left 0. Right now the left has a negative margin, and I actually need to come in and adjust that and move it a little bit over. Just taking a guess, I'll shove that over 80 pixels just to see what happens. Okay, maybe a little bit more. the beauty of this temporary style sheet, again, is you can kind of play and experiment. So hopefully this experimenting has given you the at least the sense that you're not stuck with what the authors of the WordPress style sheet have given you. You can experiment, you can play, you can, once you've kind of hit on the ideal set of properties in a rule, these properties can be copied, pasted into your real style sheet, uploaded, and made real. So just remember some of the key things we touched on were the display none. That's going to be very helpful. And just, the concept of margins, things that hopefully you are remembering from other web classes. Everything can have a background image. Anything can have a background color. Now, for example, this is pretty unreadable, but if I can identify the rule that's holding that, I could come in and give that a background. Oops, let me spell that correctly. Of white. And, now it's a little bit snug in there, so I'll throw in some padding as well. Okay, so through the power of CSS, you will be able to make some meaningful changes to your design. You can start with a template that someone else has created, a theme, and you can make your own meaningful changes.